What if I told you that one of the most electrifying guards in the NBA today, the one fans voted for, cheered for, is being quietly buried by the very league that once celebrated him? He didn't start drama. He didn't demand a trade. He just played brilliantly. But somehow, he's the villain. Somehow, he's the problem. This isn't just about all-star snubs or losing records. It's deeper. This is about bias, politics, control. It's about a young star fighting for respect in a system built to ignore him. And the question isn't, will LaMelo Ball survive Charlotte? It's, how much more can he take? They call him a loser, not because he's lazy, not because he doesn't put in the work, but because he plays for a team that never wins. Scroll through social media after a Hornets game, and you'll see it. Comments flooded with disrespect. Empty stats. Highlights don't matter if you're getting blown out. LaMelo's just a flashy point guard with no substance. But is that really the story? Because if you actually watch Charlotte play, if you sit through a full 48 minutes, night after night, you start to see something else. LaMelo Ball isn't padding stats on a tanking team. He's the system. He's the lifeline. And sometimes, he's the only thing between a double-digit loss and a miracle win. He's not just making flashy passes. He's manufacturing offense where none should exist. Double-teamed off screens. No off-ball movement. Zero help on the glass. Yet somehow, he keeps creating magic out of nothing. And let's be clear, he's doing it at 23 years old. Already one of the most creative passers in the league. Already one of the most efficient playmakers in transition. In the 24-25 season, he's averaging 24.8 points, 8.2 assists, and 5.6 rebounds. All on solid efficiency despite facing blitzes and broken spacing every single night. Critics look at the record and point fingers. But this team was broken long before LaMelo showed up. So why does the narrative persist? Why does the league treat him like a sideshow instead of the main event? Maybe because he doesn't fit their mold. Maybe because his name carries baggage. Or maybe because winning in Charlotte just isn't possible. The truth is, LaMelo Ball is not the reason Charlotte loses. He's the reason they haven't fallen off the map completely. But the longer this continues, the harder it gets to separate his talent from the team that keeps dragging him down. The 2025 All-Star Weekend in San Francisco was supposed to be LaMelo Ball's redemption arc, his return to center stage. After years of carrying an irrelevant franchise on his back, this was the moment fans could give him the recognition he'd earned, and they showed up in waves. LaMelo led all Eastern Conference guards in fan voting, more than Jalen Brunson, more than Donovan Mitchell, more than Trae Young. In fact, across the league, only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was scoring more points among guards. The people had spoken. They wanted LaMelo. But when do the All-Star rosters drop?
Well, obviously the fans had LaMelo Ball number 1.
Who's having a terrific year.
Yeah, and the players had him number 3. The media had him number 7. And he doesn't make the cut as far as the coach.
His name wasn't there. Not as a starter. Not as a reserve. Not even as an injury replacement. Just nothing. It was a shocking omission. Not just controversial, historical. Because never, in the entire history of the NBA All-Star Game, had a player led their position in fan votes and still been completely left off the roster. Not once. Until LaMelo Ball. This wasn't just a snub. It was a rejection. It was the league telling LaMelo, and by extension, every fan, that the voices of the crowd no longer matter like they used to. That flash and flare are fine for the internet, but not for the All-Star stage. So again, we ask, why? Was it because he plays for Charlotte? Was it because his name is Ball? Or was it because the media and coaches, who now hold the majority of All-Star selection power, simply don't like him? What message does this send to the next generation of stars? That fan love means nothing? That flash is penalized? That politics trumps performance? LaMelo didn't break the rules. He played within them and played brilliantly. But the rules changed just in time to leave him out. For LaMelo Ball, the All-Star Game wasn't just a celebration that never came. It was a quiet reminder. In today's NBA, being great might not be enough. Not if the league isn't watching. They say the NBA All-Star Game is for the fans. That it's about celebrating the players we love, the ones who make us jump off the couch, scream at the television, and press rewind just to watch that pass one more time. But if that's true, then how the hell did this happen? LaMelo Ball, the #1 vote-getter among fans in the Eastern Conference, didn't even make the team. Not as a starter, not as a reserve, not even as a replacement.
But not all the starters were voted by the fans, because the #1 vote getter by the fans in the East was guard LaMelo Ball.
Oh, yeah.
And
I swerve in that corner, whoa.
he's real good.
But yeah, I mean, it's fans voting. They love seeing him play.
Right.
It's exciting.
So he got the top votes from the fans, and he still did not make the All-Star game.
He had the most fan votes. More than Jalen Brunson. More than Tyrese Maxey. Hell, more than Damian Lillard. And they all made it. Let's break this down. In 2016, fans almost voted Zaza Pachulia into the All-Star Game. Yeah, Zaza. The NBA freaked out. And just like that, the rules changed. Now, fans only control 50% of the vote. The media gets 25%. And coaches? They get the other 25%. So even if the whole world wants to see you, if the media doesn't respect you, if the coaches don't vouch for you, you're out. And that's exactly what happened to LaMelo. It wasn't just LaMelo either. Trae Young got iced out too. Sabonis didn't get the call, even after putting up historic numbers in Sacramento.
LaMelo Ball, my favorite. Oh, and another one, my boy Trae Young. He done been up here too. And I'm even more shocked Sabonis didn't even make it. So what changes need to happen with this damn voting system, P? Because it's stupid now. I don't even want to watch the All-Star. I don't.
The fans? Furious. They flooded social media. They questioned the whole system. But the NBA stayed quiet. So, what do you call it? When the people speak, but the league doesn't listen? Is it still an all-star game? Or is it just a private party where only certain names get through the door? LaMelo showed up, the fans showed up, but the league? They turned their backs. And maybe that's the real story here. This isn't just about one all-star snub. It's about who really gets to decide what greatness looks like. This story didn't begin with LaMelo Ball. It began with a man holding the microphone years ago, his father, LeVar. Long before Melo dropped a dime in the NBA, LeVar dropped nuclear takes on national television.
You just remember his name, and he's from Chicago. One-on-one, I would kill him in my heyday. I'm too big and too strong. Murder him.
I could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. He wasn't just a proud dad. He was a walking headline factory. And while the world laughed, the league didn't. Front offices rolled their eyes. Coaches scoffed. The media tuned in, but didn't forget. He built the big baller brand off brashness, off spectacle, off volume. And even though Melo never invited the noise, he was born into it. Just look at the track record. Lonzo, drafted number 2 overall, bounced from LA to New Orleans to Chicago. LiAngelo barely got a contract. And LaMelo, the most talented of them all, he's still fighting uphill. Not for stats, but for respect. Respect that was never his to begin with. Because for some in the NBA, the ball name is more brand than basketball. The players know. They feel it on the court. But the decision makers, they remember the noise. They remember LeVar. So when it comes time for all-star ballots or national praise, there's always a subtle hesitation. A whisper behind closed doors. Is this really about LaMelo? Or is this just the Ball family again? This league loves a clean image. A quiet star. LaMelo game, flashy but effective. His personality, chill, even shy. But his last name? That's the problem. In the end, it's like Melo's being punished, not for anything he's done, but for the echo of his father's voice still bouncing around the NBA. And that's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes your biggest obstacle isn't a rival on the court. It's your own last name. Let's get something straight. When people talk about LaMelo Ball and throw out words like empty stats, they're missing the bigger picture. Because this isn't just a LaMelo problem. It's a Charlotte Hornets problem. A historic, deep-rooted, systemic failure that's lasted decades. No championships, no finals appearances, not even a single conference finals run. In fact, not even a division title to hang in the rafters.
If I'm not mistaken, they've never made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and their history has been pretty mediocre to this point. Maybe not to the level of the Wizards.
Let that sink in. In over 30 years of basketball, Charlotte hasn't accomplished anything significant. They've been the NBA's equivalent of a ghost franchise. And yet, LaMelo is the one getting cooked. They say he's flashy. That he's all show, no substance. That he puts up 24 and 8, but it doesn't lead to wins. That his numbers mean nothing. But what was this franchise before he arrived? Still losing. Still irrelevant. Still the most forgettable franchise in the league. And now? He's still dropping dimes, making magic, selling tickets, while the Hornets surround him with G League talent and zero winning culture. Here's a reality check. Blaming LaMelo Ball for the Hornets' failures is like blaming the life raft for the Titanic going down. You can't save a sinking ship when the hole's already ripped through the bottom. Look at the roster turnover, the coaching carousel, the broken draft picks, Kwame Brown, Adam Morrison, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Even when they got the picks right, they couldn't build around them. Kemba Walker, gone. Al Jefferson, flash in the pan. Miles Bridges, off-court issues derailed everything.
You go basically your first 6 seasons without making it to the playoffs, and then you lose in the first round of the Eastern Conference Finals.
And now they've handed LaMelo the keys to what? Exactly? An abandoned house with broken windows, no foundation, and termites in the walls? This isn't about stats. This is about structure, culture, vision, and in Charlotte, there's none of that. So when critics come for LaMelo, ask yourself, is the problem the player or the franchise that's been cursed since day one? Because sometimes the stats aren't empty. The franchise is. This isn't just bad luck, it's bad management. It's incompetence dressed as strategy. Look at the receipts. In 2015, Charlotte drafted Frank Kaminsky over Devin Booker. In 2014, they picked Noah Vonleh and skipped Zach LaVine. And just a few years earlier, they passed on Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Tyrese Halliburton. Talent keeps walking into the draft room, and Charlotte keeps letting it walk right past. And for the rare young stars who do land in Charlotte, there's no infrastructure to help them grow. No veteran leadership, no long-term coaching stability, no investment in development. It's chaos dressed in teal and purple. You've got guys like LaMelo Ball, a gifted, one-of-one offensive engine, and instead of grooming him with veteran guards, all you've got is a roster of inconsistent role players, injury-prone bigs, and a revolving door of coaches. And it gets worse. Reports say Charlotte has one of the lowest-rated medical staffs in the league. Their player development program? Virtually non-existent. The result? Talented players stagnate, regress, or worse, break down physically. The Hornets don't just miss on talent, they actively waste it. This is what happens when a franchise lacks a vision, or worse, has a vision and can't execute it. Because while other teams surround their young stars with support systems, mentors, and structure, Charlotte throws their players into the deep end with no lifeline, and somehow expects them to swim. Let's be clear, it's not LaMelo Ball failing the Hornets. It's the Hornets failing him. Amid the swirling storm of suspensions, off-court scandals, and on-court dysfunction that's defined the Hornets in recent years, there's been one constant: LaMelo Ball, quietly carrying himself like a professional in the middle of chaos. No arrests, no fights, no TMZ headlines. He just hoops. In an era where drama often overshadows talent, LaMelo has stayed grounded. While teammates grab headlines for all the wrong reasons, be it legal troubles, locker room flare-ups, or off-court controversies, LaMelo's name stays out of the noise. He's not throwing tantrums, not demanding trades, not subtweeting teammates. He's showing up, putting in the work, and giving back.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely love doing stuff like that, just for the whole community and stuff. I feel like it's more of a community thing, you know, just everybody coming together, having fun, just having something to do on the day.
Even when the organization gave him little to work with, cycling through 4 head coaches in 5 years, surrounding him with an unstable roster, and offering almost no veteran mentorship, he never bailed. He never stopped showing up. In fact, he leaned in harder, embracing the city, staying active in the community, becoming a face not just of the franchise but of hope in a bleak basketball environment.
Just this week, Ball donated 500 blankets to the Salvation Army of Charlotte for the homeless individuals and families they serve.
We are the Salvation Army here in Charlotte, serving 650 homeless women and children every night. Thank you, LaMelo, for all of the blankets to keep the homeless warm. Team,
Thank you, LaMelo.
We appreciate you. Go Hornets!
So it's great to see in just his rookie season, LaMelo is already taking the time to give back to those in need in the community.
He's not just surviving dysfunction, he's holding it together. And still, the critics ask, why isn't he leading? Maybe the better question is, lead who and into what? You want leadership from LaMelo? Look closer. He's already leading by example, by staying disciplined, staying focused, and staying out of trouble while chaos unfolds around him. It's easy to overlook quiet professionalism in a loud league. But sometimes, leadership isn't a speech. It's consistency. And LaMelo Ball, he's been one of the few steady lights in a franchise engulfed by darkness. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The label that clings to LaMelo Ball like duct tape to skin, injury prone. It's true. Since entering the league, LaMelo has missed over 100 games. That stat alone is enough for critics to weaponize doubt. But numbers without nuance always lie. Dig deeper. This isn't just about ankles or wrists. It's about strategy, or perhaps sabotage. LaMelo hasn't just been unlucky. He's been caught in the middle of a front office game, a quiet tanking campaign, camouflaged as caution. In seasons where the playoffs were long out of reach, the team made subtle choices: load management, extended timelines, precautionary rest. All of it feeds a narrative, but not necessarily the truth. Here's the wild part. When LaMelo doesn't play, the Hornets are borderline unwatchable. Their win percentage plummets. The offense stalls. Attendance shrinks. It's like the lights go out in Charlotte. So, is he fragile? Or is he being preserved by a franchise more interested in lottery balls than building something real? And yet, the criticism never goes to the front office. It lands squarely on LaMelo. He doesn't care about winning. He's unserious. He's made of glass. But how can a man who's being shelved by design prove his durability? How can a player fight when the team around him waves the white flag? The truth is more complicated than injury prone. It's about distortion, perception, manipulation. And LaMelo Ball, he's not failing. He's surviving in a system that might be failing him. So ask yourself, is the problem LaMelo or the machine around him? You can feel it, this uneasy silence before the storm. LaMelo Ball, once the golden hope of Charlotte, is watching the walls close in. The Hornets aren't winning. They're not even pretending anymore. And while LaMelo hasn't publicly demanded a trade, the murmurs are growing louder. Whispers have become headlines. Quiet conversations behind closed doors are now open speculation. This isn't a shock. The Hornets know they're not close. They've seen the same games we've seen, the same losses, the same injuries. the same wasted nights. They know LaMelo wants more, and they also know he might never reach his potential here. Not with this front office, not with this roster, not with this plan. But LaMelo, he's been loyal, quiet, hopeful. He never asked out, not once.
I know what I could do, and just being here, I loved it. I mean, the fans is amazing. Just the living situation has been amazing. Everything's been solid, so all that, you need to leave and this and that. I mean, when you build something, it's never just gonna pop off and be the best thing, so you gotta stay there, work it out, do what you're gonna do, and see what happens.
He believed in the project, believed in building something in Charlotte. But how many more years can he sacrifice waiting for the right pieces to magically fall into place? The question now isn't if the Hornets are listening to offers. It's whether they're brave enough to make the move. Because the writing is on the wall, and has been for a while.
Shams Charania has come out and, as when he was a guest on the Pat McAfee show, talked about LaMelo Ball and the trade rumors surrounding LaMelo Ball. He says this: if a team calls the Hornets and makes a massive offer,
I just want to win. That's it. LaMelo Ball, post-game interview, April 25th. So, is this the end of the LaMelo era in Charlotte? Or the beginning of something bigger? Because if LaMelo ever finds a franchise that actually values him, we might finally see the superstar he was always meant to be. He's only 23, an all-star, a showman, a heartbeat, but somehow, he's fading. Not because he lost the love, but because the system never truly saw his value. So before you label him injury-prone or just a TikTok baller, ask yourself, what if the league gave up on greatness just because it looked different? Because the tragedy isn't that LaMelo failed Charlotte. It's that Charlotte failed LaMelo. So what do you think? Where should LaMelo go next? Is it too late for Charlotte to fix this? Or has the clock already run out? If you like this video, don't forget to press the subscribe button and ring the bell to receive notifications about the latest videos from our channel. Please leave your comments and suggestions below in the comments section, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. This action also contributes to motivating us to work even more diligently. Have a great day.